the vibes. Welcome back to another week of the Hoop Genius podcast brought to you by NBA 2K23. Mo Mootsie and BJ Armstrong to break down another week of the NBA's action. BJ, you ready to get into this one?
Well, how you doing, first of all? How you doing?
Listen.
I'm gonna call Mo the Mac. Any man can come on any man that can come on a podcast in a robe. He was born the Mac. You know what I'm saying? Hey, everybody can't pull that off.
Hey, listen.
So clearly, I'm not doing as good as you, my brother. Well, clearly,
the C's can't handle business, but I handle my business. Listen, give me another choice. I'm all good. Listen, BJ, we've got to start this episode off by showing some love.
Okay.
We've got to show some love to some teams that are doing really well right now. The Orlando Magic are on a 6-game win streak. Shout out to the Orlando Magic. They beat the Celtics twice in that win streak. The New York Knicks are on a 7-game win streak. Shout out to the New York Knicks.
Wow.
The Brooklyn Nets.
Knicks and the Orlando Magic are on a 6 or 7-game winning streaks.
The Brooklyn Nets are on a 6-game win streak, and they're 12-2 since Kyrie Irving returned.
Wow.
The Heat are on a 4-game win streak. The Sixers are on a 4-game win streak. On the other end of the scale, the Wizards are on a 9-game losing streak. The Hornets are on a 7-game losing streak. The Bulls are on a 4-game losing streak and just let the Karl-Anthony Towns less Minnesota Timberwolves.
Rudy Gobert less.
I mean, we're talking about scoring. We don't need to talk about Rudy. 150 points on their head tonight. It's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good. Over in the West, things were a little bit more competitive. No one's on really hot streaks like that. But the one team I want to talk about right now is on a 5-game losing streak.
Ooh.
The Toronto Raptors are 13-17.
The breaks.
They're 10th in the East, and I think we've got to have a conversation about them.
It's time to have a conversation. Let's do it.
Because the Raptors are fun. You know, we talk about them and their defense and how they get out and run in transition and they're one piece away and this and this and that. However,
Bradley Beal's playing tonight, right? He's playing tonight. Isn't that correct? Is Bradley Beal playing?
Was Bradley Beal playing? I hadn't even thought about the Wizards right now.
Yeah. I think Bradley Beal is playing right now.
Bradley Beal against the Lakers, who are also Anthony Davis. Yes, Bradley Beal's back. He's played 8 minutes so far as we take this. Anthony Davis is out for a month. We've got to get that out of the way. But I want to talk about the Raptors.
Stop it.
Stop what? I'm just reporting the facts. He hurt his ankle and is out for a month. At least. That's what they said.
Is that the fact?
That's the reports. Now, I don't know if the reports are factual. Anthony Davis to miss multiple weeks with foot surgery. So apparently it's not his ankle. It's
he's having a... Come on.
I don't know. I lose track. I would go through his injury list, but we don't have that long on this show. We just got 30 minutes. But I want to talk about the Raptors, and then we can get on to everyone else. You know, my question to you, BJ, do you think it's time for the Raptors to rethink their direction and blow it all up in a little way? They look like right now they're not going to make the playoffs. And even if they do, they look like they're a first-round exit. They've got no clear path to becoming contenders. Even if Scottie Barnes takes the leap that we expected him to at the start of the season, however, he's been in a horrible sophomore slump. I don't know if they're even contenders then. Maybe it's time that they trade away Van Fleet and Siakam and OG and get some pieces back and start a new era of Raptors basketball.
What are you suggesting they do, Mo?
Retool, to use your words. I'm just saying. Victor Wembanyama will look good in a Raptors jersey. That's all I'm saying. I've seen some photoshops. I don't think he'd look bad in it. I want to know your thoughts, Mr. Armstrong.
Well, it's been quite some time, pre-pandemic, right? That I can recall that the Raptors have lost, 4 or 5 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a very competitive team for the last 5 to 7 years. Their fan base, we the North, they have an identity. They've won a championship.
You say that, but a lot of Raptors fans that I've heard from recently have said that even the atmosphere at games has gone completely downhill. A lot of the big Raptors fans that were there for their championship year and, you know, the subsequent years, this season, they're saying they've been priced out of the arena. And the atmosphere when they do go to games is nothing like what it used to be.
Well, welcome to the NBA. Okay, that's the entire NBA.
I mean, the atmosphere in Boston is still pretty good.
Okay, well, Boston and LA are in a separate category. Okay. Everyone else, when you win, everyone's trying to get to where the Celtics, how many championships they've won? What, 16, 17? 17. Lakers, you know, the Bulls, have 6?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
the Warriors have got a whole bunch too.
Warriors got 4 or 5, right?
I think they got 6 altogether.
Okay, they have multiple. Then you have the Spurs. You have the Rockets. Okay.
Look, Warriors got 7. My mistake. They got one in 47, first ever.
Okay, so here's a deal. You know, with success comes corporate America, right? That's what drives this. Mm-hmm. And I get it. At one point, I remember when Toronto first started up there, and they were not introducing, but it was an opportunity for the fan base up there to learn the NBA game on a nightly basis. Now, these fans, and with the success comes a new crowd. And this crowd is really taking advantage of, you know, what corporate business is all about. Just call it what it is. Now, at one point, you could go to a Raptors game and it was fun and the real fans were coming to the game. Now it's a happening place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
the 6.
That's what it is. Right?
Shout out to Drake.
When you go to a Lakers game, you know, Drake's at the game. It is a happening place. It's
6. Up in the 6, okay? That's what they call it.
Okay. That's what comes with this. So I get it. Now let's stay on the court.
Yeah, because let's look at the team, right? And you know, the way that they play, they can do really well scoring in transition, and you know, we know how they play, but that's not really playoff type basketball. They don't have the top tier talent to play the playoff style of basketball. And they don't have the level of shooting to succeed in the modern NBA.
You know, it's funny. We always say the modern NBA. However, the game remains the same. Right now, the staple of this team, the Toronto Raptors, has always been defense. It's always been rebounding the basketball. They built their team around positionless basketball. And right now, they're not performing due to injuries. You know, right now, you know, everyone was taking, or at least expecting, that Scotty Barnes was going to take a huge offensive leap this year.
Mm-hmm.
Siakam's been playing, you know, good basketball. However, you know, I think people were thinking Siakam could be in that top tier of the NBA. Fred VanVleet.
He's had some huge performances. Fred VanVleet's been disappointing.
Yeah. But having performances and being consistently carrying a franchise, that's two different things. So right now they've been by their expectations, they've been inconsistent. All right. That's just what it is, right? That's why we're talking about it now. Fred VanVleet is a really good player. Siakam, very good player. However, something's not working up there. And the something is they're not playing consistent basketball. They're not playing Toronto Raptors basketball, what we've come to expect. And right now they are at a crossroad, right? And that crossroad is what do we do moving forward? Is this a team that the organization has to look at and say, we can do X? Or, Mo, as you alluded to, do we retool this, move on, and begin the process of saying, you know what, if we're going to be competitive, we're going to continue to charge, the maximum dollars, for people to come, then they're going to demand a quality product, right? You can't charge maximum dollars and then give them a mediocre product. Mm-hmm. So I just think it's a business decision. Those are good players. Those are really good players. So I would expect that, these decisions are tough decisions, but you got to make them if you're going to be in the front office. And we'll see where it goes. But right now, they are in the thick of it. I think they are at a crossroad as an organization of what they're going to do. And, I don't think this is anything that any other organization, hasn't had to deal with. I think I didn't expect it. I didn't expect to have this conversation this year with the Toronto Raptors, however.
Do you think it would be the right time? Because they could get a nice little haul for Siakam if he gets moved. They can get some pieces for Van Fleet. I'd keep OG if I was them. I think any team in the NBA would want OG, but they could get some nice young pieces, some picks, and retool. Do you think it's time?
Well, without knowing anything, sometime, I remember, Hubie Brown said to me some years ago, he said, you know what, BJ, every coach should have 3 to 4 years max to coach that group.
Mm-hmm.
Because after about 3 or 4 years, you're tired of if the team, especially if they don't get it, right? When I mean don't get it. If you're not winning after 3 or 4 years, you don't probably want to, deal with them, and they don't probably want to hear you anymore. Okay. Mm-hmm. This team right now, it's not like they don't know how to win. What are you going to say to Siakam? What are you going to say to Fred VanVleet? You need to play harder. These guys, they know what it takes. You just have to sometimes say, we're not good enough. So I think at this stage, you don't just lose Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry and the quality of players that they've had up there, when you're talking about winning, you need top tier talent. And right now, they just don't have it. They have some nice players. And right now, even if they were to get, let's say, the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick, it's still, you have to consider the timeline that's going to be needed to get those players to, get them all together. Everybody's got to be on the same timeline. So I think at some point here, they probably will go in that direction. And it just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because, sometimes you got to just say it's run its course. I like the players that they have on their team. It's just hard when you develop those players and then, and then somebody else is going to get a really good player, right? Because those are really good players that they have in their organization. But, I'm not ready to give up on them yet, but I think you definitely have to talk about it.
I mean, speaking of coaching, the reason why BJ asked how I was at the start of this game is the Boston Celtics are on a 2-game losing streak. And the 2-game losing streak coincides with the exposing of Joe Mazzulla's Quizlet account. Did you see that, BJ?
I didn't see that. What is going on?
There was a fan on Twitter who was searching on Quizlet, which I believe is a website that people use. It's a website or an app that people use to do revision for their exams. So you do like flashcards on the app. So you put like a name on the front. You like say you're studying in school, you'd put like oxygen on the front, and on the back you'd have O2 as the chemical compound or hydrogen or whatever.
Okay.
But anyway, this user was searching for Phoenix Suns players to learn about them to talk to her boyfriend. And in the process of searching for this, she found an account named Joseph_Mazzulla, which had hundreds and hundreds of cards, almost every team and every player in the NBA, with a full guide on how to defend them. So it would say Zion Williamson at the front, and you flip the card, and on the back, it gives you the scouting report for Zion Williamson. And it has every team in the NBA. and it is Joe Mazzulla's notes for how he plans his games. He had it on a public account on the Quizlet app or website or whatever it is.
I don't believe that. Is this true?
Is this true? Because within 20 minutes of this being found, the account was deleted instantly.
Why would he have it on the public? Why would he have it on the public?
He must have forgot to press private. And as soon as they found it, he deleted the account. It was too much information for it to be fake. There's no other person in the world called Joseph _Mazzulla.
Why would you have your account on? Why would you? He had it on the computer and then accidentally posted on a.
Well, I just think he never thought someone would search his name on Quizlet. I've never even heard of Quizlet before today. So it was his way of planning. Anyway, since that got exposed, the Celtics have yet to win a game. And the one thing for me that's standing out for the Celtics right now, these two losses, it's, we can talk about the offense and how the ball's not moving how it was. We can talk about the three-point shooting and the shots not going down how it was to start the season.
But Jason Tatum didn't play today, did he?
He didn't play tonight. He didn't play tonight.
Oh, okay.
And they still lost to Orlando Magic down the stretch. Opposite teams have kind of figured out Joe Mazzulla's brand of basketball. They're not collapsing the paint to leave the shooters wide open anymore. They're doing a good job. But the thing that stands out to me is the lack of effort. The thing that stands out to me is the lack of someone like an Ime Udoka to just scream at the guys and call them out. They look to me, the last two games, like they were playing under Brad Stevens again. Like, okay, we'll turn up, we'll play the game, whatever. Someone needs to light the fire under these guys. I don't know what it needs to be. Mark Smart going to do his thing, whatever. But these are 2 games in a row now where they just have not brought the effort. What are your thoughts on the Celtics right now?
Well, I'm going to give, first of all, I'm going to give these guys the respect. And the respect is, and I think every coach would agree with me, you can't want something for your team that your team doesn't want for itself.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this screaming sounds good, feels good, may appear to be good. However, every good team, and every team knows this, you only have a limited amount of screams before they tune you out.
Okay. He's brand new.
Okay. Well, he's brand new, but this team is a very fragile team. Why do I say they're fragile? It's because this team lives and dies on the edge. This is how this group functions. This is their DNA. This is who they are. This is what they do. They are going to make their journey the most difficult route possible. That's what they do. Okay. You and I can sit here and say, why do they do this? However, they have to get down 0-3 and have everything against them before they and okay.
We got to stop saying good things about them on the show, because anytime we praise them, they start to play bad.
Okay, this is what they do. Now, Ime Udoka, give him credit. He stayed on him, da-da-da. Joe Mazzulla was in that locker room. He knows the same thing we know, okay? And let me tell you something. When it's time to push, you got to push. It's not time. It's too early in the season. It's too early in the season to be screaming, okay, all right, he pushed him through 2 wins in Orlando. Would you rather that happen, or would you rather push him in the playoffs when he needs to really get on?
I hear it.
This is a marathon of a season, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, this is a marathon. And some people would say, oh, well, BJ, why would you do that? You done it. But that's just the nature of the game. That's how this game is. Now, you would like for your players, okay? You would like for your players to do that. Now, here's a little dark secret about the NBA and about whatever league you play in. The players are responsible for 2 things you can't coach. You can't coach effort, and you can't coach energy. Now, when I watch the Celtics play, they look well organized. Suddenly, the plays, they don't work now. Okay. Mm-hmm. No, the players right now have to bring the effort and the energy. They are in a very tough stretch. I'm not making an excuse for them. They went out west. One of the hardest things to do, because playing in the NBA is a grind. Then they come from the West Coast back to the East Coast. They lose their first game back to the East Coast, to be expected. Okay, anyone's going out on a six game road trip out west. Okay, and then you come back home. The worst game or the trap game is the first game. Okay, they lose. I get it. I'm not panicking about that. You would like for them to rebound as a team, but come on. You're playing against NBA players. They have pride too. They are good too. And you're minus Jason Tatum. Now, I'm not going to sit here and just disrespect the Orlando Magic. Those are good players over there. Hey,
no doubt.
Those
Paolo's
are good
cooking.
NBA. Those are good NBA players. And my guy Bo Bol. There's the NBA players, and there's Bo Bol. Okay, so they've lost 2 games. This is a grind. This is tough. Anyone who's played in the NBA knows how tough that is. They go 4-2 on a road trip, right? Then they come back home, and then their best player doesn't play the next night. Okay. So right now, I'm not here to blame Joe Mazzulla, Right now, the Celtics are going to have to regroup, get their effort and energy back. And then if their effort and energy is good, I'll bet on their talent because they have a talented group. Okay. But right now, they are in a very, very tough stretch of basketball. And they're going to have to find a way. No one's going to feel sorry for them. And the final thing, every team that they play, they're going to take that other team's best shot. Why? Because they have the best record, right? I don't know if they still have it today, but they have the best record in the Eastern Conference.
No, Milwaukee are now the number 1 seed in the East.
Okay, so I'm measuring myself versus the best. And up until yesterday or today, they were the team. Now, that's what you're up against. So no one's going to feel sorry for them. No one's going to sit there and go, what's wrong with them? Nothing's wrong with them. They just have to do what all the other teams have to do. They got to figure out how to climb out of this ditch right now that they're in and continue to play good basketball. They have a great group. They got the Time Lord back. Everyone was all excited about that. I'm excited about it. However, those other NBA players are watching too. So give those guys credit. I mean, Orlando, as you know, Mo, I've been saying this to you off air. I like this Orlando Magic team.
Listen, Franz and Paolo. I tweeted this the other day. Franz and Paolo are something special. And Bol too. Throw him in the mix there. One more draft pick this year. One more draft pick this year. They're going to be a problem for the Eastern Conference.
Markelle Fultz is back in the
Fultz is back and he's playing really well.
Yeah.
But we started this. So shout out to the Magic. We started this by showing love to some teams that were doing really well. Got to wrap this up here by showing some love to some players that are doing really well. The Warriors, no Stephen Curry. Tonight, Jordan Poole steps up and drops 43. Nikola Jokic tonight. You ready for the stat line that just finished? 40 points, 27 rebounds, and 10 assists. The Joker doing what he does. Last night,
your guy Devin Booker.
D-Book.
Who? Say it again, Mo. Say it again.
It feels like the Pelicans and the Suns play each other every week. Okay. D-Book had quite the performance against New Orleans. Kemba Walker, the reason why I didn't watch Devin Booker's performance is I was watching Kemba Walker drop a 30-piece for the Mavs and take the Cavs to overtime against Dallas. Good to see him back balling. But talk to me about Devin Booker.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you something. Devin Booker had a third quarter that was just simply, out of this world. It was incredible. I mean, he just caught fire, right? I mean, when you say cooking in the kitchen, Devin Booker came out in the third quarter. I mean, they were down 24 points or so, I think, 20-something points. And Devin Booker just got on a roll. When you see a player like that get on a roll, it's really like a special moment. The ball finds him. The basket looks big. Seemed like everything he threw up was going in. he just caught a rhythm, and he just kept coming. He kept coming, and they couldn't stop him. And he was D-book last night. I mean, give him credit. I mean, it was a tough loss for the Pelicans because they should have won that game in spite of the 58 points. They should have won that game.
They got too comfortable. They just beat the Suns twice in a row. They got too comfortable and they took their foot off the gas.
No, they had complete control. I don't even think they got comfortable. They had complete control of the game. When you got somebody on the ropes, Mo, and if you're in a fight, you got to knock them out.
Oh, yeah.
Mo,
that's facts.
They had him on the rope, Mo. They had him on the ropes.
They thought they had knocked him out, but Devin Booker said, listen, I'm Tyson Fury. I'm going to get right back up and start swinging again.
And did he start swinging?
You know what? There's one more player that's been balling out of control. We talked about the Nets and how well they've been since Kyrie's return, but Kevin Durant, 43 points tonight as well. When I watch the Pelicans, Pelicans are a stacked team, right? They got depth, they got talent, but I just think, thank God they didn't pull off that trade for Kevin Durant this summer. Because if you would have put Kevin Durant next to Zion Williamson, man, it would have been over.
I'm going to tell you, Zion, I'm beginning to watch him more and more. And I'm going to say this about Zion. I always knew he had the opportunity or he had the talent to be a really good player. He's becoming a very dominant player right in front of our eyes. Mm-hmm. I mean, Mo, he's unstoppable. I mean, Mo, go watch his highlights from last night, ladies and gentlemen. He has some shots that he made that you're just seeing a man that's just clearly stronger than everyone else. I mean, Mo,
yep.
He plays through contact as well as anyone in the entire NBA. I mean, you literally, Mo, can't wrap him up. He's that strong. He just powers right. I mean, Mo, he gets an and one where these guys are strong, athletic, and he just powers right through people and finishes the play. So I'm interested to see how far this team can go. Brandon Ingram I think he's scheduled to come back here sometime in the near future. And as he continues to mature in this league, talking about Zion, I think this team with Zion being, I think he's clearly the leader of that group. I'm really interested to see how far they can go. I mean, he's playing dominant basketball, Mo. You can't guard him with single coverage.
And you know what's coming. He's going to try to get to his left hand. Maybe he's going to hit a spin move, get to his left hand and dunk on you. And you could try stop him, but there ain't no stopping him. But speaking of watching highlights, BJ, there's one highlight that'll make you happy, and I know you've just seen it. Jaden Ivey threw down a disgusting dunk all over Yuta Watanabe. Now, you might know Yuta from shooting 54% from three-point land this season, being the best corner three shooter in the NBA. Or you might know him from getting dunked on horribly by Anthony Edwards last year in one of the most vicious posters. Was that last year or the year before? I can't remember. But he was on the wrong end of a poster again tonight. Jaden Ivey, what a dunk. What a dunk from Jaden Ivey. That's what I'm going to say to you guys. Go and check that out. I'm going
to tell you, those Pistons, they do what young players should do. Every game, they show flashes. Jaden Ivey, how about this kid Duren? He's been averaging like 13 rebounds for the last 5 games. That hasn't been done
monster
since Dwight Howard, right? But he shows flashes. Then you'll see Beef Stew make 3 or 4 threes. They're showing things. This kid Kevin Knox been playing good basketball. But that was a good win. I gotta give the Brooklyn Nets credit. That was a good win by them. And KD played big.
Duren threw down a big dunk on KD, even though KD obviously dropped 43 and secured the win.
Yeah. I mean, they show flashes. I like the Pistons.
I think Killian Hayes has stepped up with no Kate Cunningham. Killian Hayes has really stepped up, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in January. I'm looking forward to seeing him in Paris.
Yes,
live in person.
Yes,
that's going to be good. But there's so much going on in the NBA. We didn't even get to talk about the Knicks. We didn't even get to talk about how Anthony Davis' injury will impact the Lakers.
But they got a 7-game winning streak right now.
That's right. We're going to have to get into it throughout this week. So Knicks, you better stop losing and keep winning so we can talk about your win streak as the week progresses. And we'll answer some questions later this week. I know you guys were looking forward to it and we couldn't get an episode done on Friday. So we'll be back with more this week. as the road to Christmas continues. Less than a week now until some marquee matchups. BJ and I are going to be there with you the whole way through, so don't go anywhere. And with less than a week to go to Christmas, over here in the UK, BJ, there's a postal strike. So if you order gifts in the post, they're not going to arrive for Christmas. But do you know what can arrive in time for Christmas?
What's up?
NBA 2K23. You can send a gift of basketball because they support the show, so we need to support them right back. Send the basketball lover in your life, anyone who is a basketball fan, anyone who wants to know more about basketball, buy them NBA 2K23. You can buy it for them digitally. You can buy them a PlayStation Store card, gift code, send them the code, and they can download it. You don't have to wait for the mailman. But that's all. Another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast in the books. We'll be back tomorrow morning, breaking down more action from around the NBA. So make sure you don't go anywhere. Make sure you share the show with a friend, leave a review, leave a rating, and most importantly, get buckets.